In the cold, steel-ridden bowels of a classified United States military base, deep within the Earth's surface, an experiment was underway. This was no ordinary experiment. It involved the human brain, sleep, and the stretching of nature's laws until they were poised to snap. They called it Project Morpheus. The military, always pushing the boundaries of human capabilities for the sake of national security, had designed an ambitious plan. The objective was simple, yet alarming: to eliminate the necessity of sleep for soldiers. The method was less straightforward, involving a cocktail of experimental stimulants and the use of groundbreaking brainwave technology. The implications were profound, the risks largely unknown. They had volunteers, brave soldiers willing to gamble their sanity for the country. The rest of the world was oblivious to this unfolding drama, the chilling tale of Project Morpheus. The chosen subjects were sealed within a hermetically closed environment, monitored constantly by an army of clinical psychologists, neurologists, and military experts through a maze of surveillance cameras and biometric trackers. The trials began with an adrenaline-charged optimism that quickly faded into grim uncertainty, with no discernible difference for the subjects in the stark, windowless confines of their habitat. Days turned into nights, and nights into days. The volunteers remained awake, a result that many had dreamt of, but was now becoming a haunting reality. They were not without sleep entirely. The scientists had engineered the experiment to allow a form of pseudo-sleep, a conscious resting state where the body relaxed, but the mind stayed alert. It was unnatural, a grotesque mimicry of nature's tranquil reprieve. Initial observations noted an increase in alertness and productivity among the subjects. They could carry out complex tasks for longer durations. Their physical abilities seemed to thrive. However, soon, cracks started to appear in the visage of victory, subtle at first, but growing steadily more ominous. Subjects began to exhibit an inexplicable paranoia. Strange drawings began to appear on the bare walls of their quarters. Indecipherable symbols, frantic scribbles in the corners. Then came hallucinations, projections of their deepest fears and darkest memories. A soldier in the corner whispering to unseen companions, another in fits of silent laughter, staring at a wall. Specters of past battles seemed to rise from their subconsciousness, phantom enemies stalking them in the cold, steel corridors of their confinement. The subjects started to avoid each other, muttering about traitors and spies. They grew frantic, desperate, while their monitors bore silent witness to their unraveling. And then, the first casualty. A soldier was found in his quarters, eyes wide in terror, life extinguished. Autopsy suggested a heart attack, but the lingering look of dread on his face told a different story. The surveillance footage revealed nothing unusual, but the remaining subjects became increasingly hysterical, feeding off each other's dread. Amid the chaos, the scientists began to question the morality of their experiment, the gruesome spectacle that was unraveling before them. The soldiers were no longer the men they had once been, now hollow shells consumed by unseen horrors. The military officials demanded continuity, prioritizing results over the well-being of the subjects. An unspoken war simmered between the walls of the facility as both parties grappled with the monstrous creation that was Project Morpheus. The subjects began to diminish, one by one. Some succumbed to inexplicable illnesses, others to their own hands. Their minds unable to bear the ceaseless onslaught of wakefulness. The experiment, instead of forging super soldiers, had birthed unimaginable horror. A grisly tale of human endurance stretched beyond its limit. Eventually, the remaining handful of subjects were too broken, too far gone from humanity. Their eyes were vacant, consumed by shadows that whispered tales of unending wakefulness. All semblance of military decorum had vanished, leaving behind empty shells of the men they once were. Reports from the research team grew more desperate, but the orders remained the same. Continue. The cries for mercy fell on deaf ears. The top brass, too invested in the potential outcome to consider the consequences of their actions. But the horror had only just begun. One morning, the control room staff arrived to find every screen blank. In the cavernous silence of the operation hub, panic grew. Technicians scrambled, trying to restore the surveillance system, their faces pale under the harsh fluorescent lights. When the cameras flickered back to life, the scene that greeted them was pulled from the darkest recesses of nightmares. The containment room was smeared in red, the last of the subjects lifeless on the floor. Amidst the gore, one figure remained standing, the final subject, a man who had once been a decorated war hero. Now, he was a specter, terror, catastrophic failure. His hollow eyes bore into the camera, the barest hint of a smile pulling at his lips. Then, with a swift move, he brought down the surveillance system, plunging the control room back into horrified silence. A security team was dispatched, armed and ready for any confrontation. They found the door to the containment room jammed. Efforts to open it proved futile. It was as if some invisible force held it firm, a silent sentinel guarding the horrors within. As the hours passed, a disturbing sound began to echo from the other side. Laughter. A low, grating sound. It was devoid of any joy. A chilling mockery that made even the bravest among them shudder. Finally, after hours of effort, the door gave way. The security team, guns raised, stepped into a scene of chaos. The room was empty. The final subject was gone. The only remnant of his existence was the same chilling laughter, now recorded and playing on loop through the room's speakers. An investigation was launched, but no trace of the missing soldier was ever found. The story of Project Morpheus was locked away in the darkest corners of the military archives, a chilling reminder of an experiment gone horribly wrong. To this day, the events that unfolded within the walls of the military base remain a closely guarded secret. Yet, whispers of the horror that was Project Morpheus continue to seep through the cracks. Sometimes, late at night, the echoes of a grating laughter are rumored to haunt the base's corridors, a chilling reminder of the sleep experiment that plunged into the depths of the human psyche and the unspeakable horror it unleashed. So if you ever find yourself unable to sleep, remember the tale of Project Morpheus and pray that you never hear the echoes of that horrifying laughter. For who knows what became of the last subject the soldier lost, the horrifying abyss of end.